So I'm here today to ask you to please join us in the Brook cleanup. We have co-hosted these with the City of Ellsworth for several years, and we're really excited to do this again. Hope that you'll join us.
Have you ever noticed the bridge that's next to the Ramada Inn on High Street? The water running underneath is Brook. Brook is a stream that existed long before Ellsworth became a developed city. Over the past 250 years, the stream has been put under many stressful situations and endangered its ability to provide a healthy habitat for brook trout, beavers, muskrats, fox, birds, trees, and the people who live and recreate around Brook.
Brook is one of those beautiful treasures in the city of Ellsworth, a little gem that connects the upstream waters, largely undeveloped, valuable wetlands for wildlife, for inland waterfowl and wading birds, with the harbor right here behind me in our Indian Point Preserve.
So it's really important, productive little brook, even though you don't picture that when you go over High Street.
Brook is essential fish and wildlife habitat. Clean water and clean habitat are the cornerstones of successful fish and wildlife management.
This area needs to be protected. There needs to be a buffer area around these streams to make sure that we always have these native species here for everybody to enjoy in perpetuity.
The Brook watershed is 4,217 acres and is impacted not only by development in Ellsworth, but by surrounding communities of Lemoyne and Hancock. Well before the city was incorporated, Wabanaki fished trout, salmon, alewives, and clam from a healthy brook and Union River. They hunted deer, moose, and muskrat, and sustainably camped on sites along the river, like at Indian Point. White settlers invaded and then settled in the 1800s. Joseph Card and John Tinker's newly built sawmill on Brook and wharfs on the Union River created the first environmental impact to this natural habitat. Through the centuries, residents continued to fish the river.
A friend of ours this winter passed this tool on to me. This is a tool he made when he was a young man for catching fish right out of here, out of Brook. He would come down looking for these tomcod or frostfish. Christmas Eve, he said he and his mom would get the sled and a gunny sack and come down the road and fill it up with tomcod and bring them home, and they'd keep them out in the snowbank and eat them sort of as long as they lasted. People think of those days as being gone, and to some extent they are, but there's still fish in these rivers.
In 2005, the Maine Department of Environmental Protection determined Brook was no longer a Class B waterway. It was now an impaired stream. This meant it was no longer fishable or swimmable. The greatest stressor on the brook's health was stormwater runoff.
You may think that Brook, we pass over it every day, and it's kind of an inconsequential thing when you drive over it on High Street. But this is actually not just from a fish standpoint, but also from a wildlife standpoint. It's very important. Brook in an urban environment, waterways such as this, provide a travel corridor and essential habitat for all kinds of wildlife species.
Maine is one of the last strongholds of wild eastern brook trout. As the developmental footprint expands, the forest canopy disappears, so does the vegetation disappears, and it's replaced by impervious parking lots that allow for quick stormwater runoff right into the stream. These runoffs are bringing toxins, and heavy metals, phosphorus, and nitrates, and erosion. And when they do that, they bring soil fines into the stream. They get clogged these interstitial spaces for the spawning habitat for brook trout. And brook trout have a hard time reproducing in those areas. Also, as the stream warms up, it gets to be above lethal temperatures for our native fish species, and they disappear.
The state of Maine, we're very unique because we are the last stronghold of the eastern brook trout. So it's very important that we do what we can as stewards of the environment and as land users and as responsible citizens to keep the water clean and to keep the actual habitat, the banks, clean.
What is currently being done to protect the brook? In the past 2 decades, the College of the Atlantic, along with DEP and the Union River watershed, continue to closely monitor the Brook water quality. A management plan and map has been created to monitor the water source, and the city works with developers to create sustainable development.
The Ellsworth Planning Office works with developers and business owners to reduce stormwater runoff on High Street. For example, at Merrill Furniture, they've put in tree planters, which collects the stormwater so it's not gushing off into Card Brook. If you've never seen that, the Hannaford parking lot, there's a green space that's put in where the post office box is so that that can absorb stormwater. When we built the middle school, we put in pervious surface. This is pavement where water can go right into the ground and go slowly and not gush all of the oil and nutrients into the streams. More can be done with existing and new development. For instance, can you imagine a green roof, a garden on top of some of our grocery stores on High Street?
Businesses and existing commercial buildings can incorporate rain barrels in large parking lots, create smaller parking lots, and decrease the amount of plowing and salt during off-season in order to decrease runoff and groundwater contamination and preserve the health of the brook. Residents, in concert with Frenchman Bay Conservancy, can increase land and permanent conservation and volunteer their time to assist in removing harmful litter and debris from the brook.
The City of Ellsworth has been collaborating with the Frenchman Bay Conservancy since 2012 to hold the annual Card Brook cleanup. This year, join us on the right-hand side of Hannaford Supermarket on September 12th from 9:30 to noon. There will be snacks, water, face masks, and sanitizer provided, as well as a local gift card raffle. For more information, visit the City of Ellsworth or Frenchman Bay Conservancy's website and Facebook.
So come join us and help out on the cleanup. Look forward to seeing you then.